All right. Let's roll on to our top 5 Eagles positions of need in the 2021 NFL Draft. Let me share this real quick. There is our list. I'll lead us off here. I've got cornerback as my number 1 need, while Darius Slay is still the number 1 guy here. This guy who is clearly aging. The Eagles struggled all year round to put anything alongside Darius Slay last year. And Slay could be out within the next 2 seasons. I got that number 2 wide receiver. The Eagles cannot just rest on guys like Watkins, Rieger, Fulgham, and Hightower. So regardless of what happens at quarterback over these next few days, I think it's a no-brainer. The Eagles must make a move here for a star wide receiver. We'll get to that very soon. Third, I've got linebacker. Well, I agree you can invest like high assets on top linebackers. Like how many times has the defense suffered because of the Eagles' neglect at this position? The Eagles need to really improve on defense at all 3 levels, starting with linebacker. Then I've got safety at number 4. Rodney Mcleod's coming off his 2nd ACL injury in the last 3 seasons. Jalen Mills, who knows what you got with that guy, whether he's on the roster or off the roster. He's a free agent. Kayvon Wallace is nice, but I think that guy's at least a year or 2 away. Then I got edge. I'm going defensive end here. The Eagles finished 3rd in sack percentage and team pressure rate and 29th in blitz rate. So it was solid, but I still think, like, what do you got? You don't really have that much young talent. I don't think Josh Sweat is a starter. Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham, you've got major questions with those 2 moving forward. So that is my top 5, Shane. Explain your top 5.
All right, so number 1, I've got quarterback. And this was before the Wentz, rumors came out again today, which there's been Wentz rumors every other day. But I think when you look at this team, when you look at football in general, if you're going to win a Super Bowl, which is everybody's goal, you have to have a quarterback. You can go back like 17, 18 years looking at Super Bowl winners. And I would say there's only 3 quarterbacks I wouldn't consider elite that have won. Foles did it in 2017. Amid the craziest hot streak I've ever seen in pro sports. Hey, Flacco did it in 2012 and again, he had an unbelievable postseason and had a great defense. And then you had Eli Manning in 2007 and 2011 on the back of a great defense. The Eagles' defense is not going to win them a Super Bowl anytime soon. They have got to have elite quarterback play. And so you can look at Wentz in 2020, and his stats were horrible, one of the worst years of his career. And we want to talk about 2017, but if you look back at 2017, he was unbelievable in like key situations, 3rd and 4th down in the red zone. In early downs, he was pretty much what he's been his whole career. And so we have that anomaly in 2017 where he was just great in these clutch situations. He's never hit that again. You got Jalen Hurts, and I'm on record with my thoughts of Jalen Hurts. I think, you can't judge a guy's career off of 4 starts, but he demonstrated a lot of the issues that I identified in pre-draft last year. Inability to throw to the middle of the field, exclusively single read concepts. He's too quick to break the pocket without pressure. Nick, could he build off of those? Yeah. Could you maybe build a team around that? You might be able to. But the question is, what makes your team better? Is it Wentz or Hurts at quarterback with Smith or Chase as a receiver? Or is it taking a guy like Zach Wilson or a guy like Justin Fields at number 6? To me, if you're not confident in what you have at quarterback, and I'm not, and you're picking in the top 5, 6, and it's a deep quarterback draft, if Fields or Wilson is there, I'm pulling the trigger and I'm not thinking twice about it. And so QB is my number 1. Don't at me on Twitter. And I really debated putting that out there or not because, it's so up in the air what the Eagles are going to do at quarterback. But if I'm running the game, that's what I'm looking at. Number 2, I put defensive back, and I did not distinguish between corner and safety for the reason that it's likely we're moving from a single high to a split field safety defensive scheme, in which case I think it's really likely the Eagles might try to move Jalen Mills back to corner with a safety over the top protecting him. That kind of mitigates his biggest weakness, which is his speed, and it lets him be aggressive. And so if you do that, you probably need safety more than corner, but either way, you need defensive back help. Number 3, I put receiver. And it's well documented. You've got Rieger, you've got, Fulgham, who really fell off at the end of the year. You took a lot of flyers on late guys. You got a lot of youth. And so I don't think you want to draft 2 or 3 receivers, but I do think you want to add a guy. And the Eagles really need linebacker help. And then it was a toss-up between edge and interior O-line for me, but I went with edge primarily because I expect Derek Barnett to be gone next year.
All right. What about you, Chris? Explain your ranking. Go ahead, man.
So, dude, I pulled an Eagles and I completely forgot linebacker when I put my list together. Like I think I literally was like on. I feel like I was like working out and like you texted me and I was like, you know what? Like I was like, and then I completely forgot to put linebacker. I probably put linebacker at like 3 on this list, but going with cornerback first. I mean, Darius Slay is not going to be here for probably any more than 2 more years. I would say, and I think they're going to be like it's going to be solid. I mean, Darius Slay is still a cornerback 1. He does really well, and him as a leader and a mentor for these guys, like that's invaluable. But that being said, is you really need a solid second corner. And as much as I like Avonte Maddox, it's not him. I think he might be better as kind of just like an athletic nickel or safety guy. So I'd definitely say that cornerback would be on the list. And this year, there's a lot of cornerbacks actually. Like, I mean, Patrick Surtain from Alabama, he's as legit as they come. He's as clean cut as they come. Farley from Virginia Tech is very solid. J.C. Horn from South Carolina is great. I mean, it's a pretty deep draft as far as corners. The problem is you have to cipher through like 10 guys that are going to be in like the back end of the first into like the middle of the third that like all could be solid. I mean, DJ Daniels is a guy from Georgia that I kind of caught wind of during the season because I was wondering why he wasn't playing, and then I saw he had an injury, but he was a junior college kid, stepped on the map, was excellent in his sophomore year at Georgia, and then he missed a lot of time, and then he goes to Senior Bowl and he wins the players voted best defensive back at the entire Senior Bowl. So it's really important. I mean, you need to have stability at the corner position, especially when, like, if you look at our conference and division, like, you're going to be going against Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk. Like, the NFC's loaded with receivers. Secondly, I would say wide receiver. I really do think that Sirianni is going to bring all the talent out of Rager, Fulgham, Greg Ward if he comes back, especially Goddard. That being said, I really think that no matter which quarterback's here, we still don't have that alpha one guy. Yeah. I do believe that Chase or Smith would be phenomenal here. That being said, I also think Kyle Pitts would be really good. I know that people get really stuck on the tight end label, but he really is a move wide receiver. Like, he's 6'6", 245, but he's more athletic than a lot of NFL receivers, and he lines up outside in the slot, and he's like having Darren Waller. Like, you can't – I think the tight end labels really does him a disservice. But I really think wide receiver or just in general a playmaker like Pitts would be crucial. Safety, I mean, Jalen Mills, he might be back. I think he's way better of a safety than a corner. McLeod's coming off an injury. Kayvon Wallace, you're not exactly sure what you have in him. And then minus that, there really isn't any depth there. There's guys like Trevor Moehrig from TCU who's flying up the charts. He's really solid. Edge, I mean, Josh Sweat, he's going to be here. He's solid. I'm pretty sure we did pick up the 5th-year option on Barnett, and I've heard rumors that we are going to sign him to an extension, but who knows? But minus that, we don't really have that much depth at edge either, and that's just a position that you want to load up on because you see, look at the Super Bowl teams. They have great edge rushers: Shaq Barrett, Frank Clark, Jason Pierre-Paul. It's really important in this day and age. I mean, you see the impact that a guy like T.J. Watt has. And then offensive line, this is a need that, like, if you don't put an offensive lineman high in the draft, people get, like, annoyed with, like, a mock draft because people saw what the line looked like. But, like, we were missing 4 starters and backup guys throughout the season. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily again. However, you want to prepare. I mean, we lost Dillard, JP, Brooks, Lane, Herbig got hurt for a little bit. Driscoll got hurt for a little bit. Like, Kelsey was the only one that was stable. I do think you absolutely have to draft a lineman or 2. I mean, we have 10 draft picks. I hope that we hit on that. But I think that offensive line depth is a need, but it's not as crucial as a need as getting like a cornerback or a safety or linebacker.